Hey there everyone, Hitesh here and welcome to JavaScript Marathon. So it's been a little bit while. I was busy with traveling. Those who follow me up on Instagram obviously know everything that I do. But again, welcome back to this JavaScript Marathon. Today's episode is going to be a little bit awesome. I'll talk about the quirkiness of the JavaScript, especially in the conversion, because a lot of memes comes around that why JavaScript is behaving so, why sometimes we add numbers and string, it gives numbers sometimes it gives strings. What is happening? What is the myth behind it and how does the algorithm works behind that in JavaScript? So we'll be talking that. First, we are going to take up your questions. So let me move this up here. So we'll be taking up your questions and answers and all of that. So I know a lot of you have been asking about the upcoming course that I have and all of that. So we'll be going through with that also. So if you have any question regarding the upcoming courses and stuff, feel free to ask me. I would love to answer that. A lot of people will be going through with that. And by the way, we'll be going with that. And okay, so this is very interesting. I would love to take that. So, sir, I want to take JavaScript course, but the process of asking doubt through emails, I don't like it. Let me assure you, you won't be asking any doubt via emails. That is probably not my favorite process at all. You will be asking doubts via the chats. There will be a live chat available to you. We are enabling that, in which people will be able to screen share their problems, installation process. We can take the video calls in that. Also, there will be a closed community where only the people who have taken the course can actually get into that. So should I show you all of that? That would be a bit of a leak as well. I think I should not stream it. I have a proper launch plan for it. So there is a new platform that we have built for the community itself. And I think you'll love that. So that is why. Again, I assure you, your doubt clearance will all be handled. It is not going to be any problem at all. I'm very much excited for that. So Alok Verma is enrolled in JS Bootcamp. One more thing, in case you are enrolled in JavaScript Bootcamp, make sure you attend this week's hackathon here in Bengaluru, because if you have enrolled into that bootcamp, I will be hiring you first and foremost. Even if you have just the basics of JavaScript, I'll personally hire you, because right now I'm in a need of 20 JavaScript developers personally for some of my projects. And then there is the Geeky Ants coming in. So native base, they are coming in. They have around, they haven't given me exact number to hire, but I know that they have 50 vacancies up there. So that will be going on. Okay, so Ritesh says, hello sir, can I get discount in EMI payments in JavaScript? You can use Hitesh 10 to get 10% off, but EMIs and stuff, there is Walnut app there through which you can get EMI, but if Walnut doesn't work for you, then obviously this is a small price course, 15,000, not 15 lakh or not 1.5 lakh, then EMIs are not possible in that case. So yeah, that would be it. So again, go ahead and use the coupon code Hitesh10. Go ahead and enroll in that JavaScript course. Let me forward you the link of that. Let me go ahead and have this one, JavaScript. Yep, that is the link. So in case you are looking up for that, let me go ahead and add this up. So yep, that is up available. Okay. Okay, so yeah, there's a nice one here. Hi, good evening. Before teaching us the concept, preparing by your side, by yourself or by instant knowledge? No, nothing is instant knowledge. I'm not a Superman or a super powerful brainiac or something. I do prepare my lectures and then I deliver them. That is the best way. That is why the condensed knowledge is being delivered. So again, this is not. Okay, Discord for this channel, please. Yes, better than Discord. Our own customized Discord is coming up this week, and that is the reason why we wanted to have this one. So the reason for that is we wanted to have customized Discord because I have seen a lot of people with their name hidden because I don't know their emails, I don't know their information about it. They get into those Discord channels, sometimes makes a really big mess. With their fake names, they discourage people to learn. Sometimes they just mock people for asking small doubts like what's the difference between a div and p. I don't want that to happen. I want everybody should get a kind of a decent environment to ask any doubt freely, and that is why we are creating our own customized Discord. We have already built it. Hopefully this week I'll be launching it. Very excited to have this one. Okay, so We'll be going through with that. Okay, so how can I attend hackathon if I'm in Noida? You need to, it's not online, it's a hiring drive itself. So it will be going on offline here in Bangalore. Okay, I will have to wait for my salary for my GS bootcamp. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll be waiting for you to join into that. Okay, so hi Tesh, you should release a course for video editing. That's interesting. Probably I'll share that freely on YouTube. It's not a big of a process. Okay, so Shakib says, does JS full stack web dev course also recommended for someone who is having 2 to 3 year experience and stuck in service-based company and wants to upskill himself? Absolutely, 100% I would recommend you this course, because this course is uniquely designed. It's absolutely good for fresher. It's absolutely good for people having experience and want to transition from one company to another. That is what we'll be having that. So we'll be going through with that. Okay, I'm loving this marathon. Keep it up. I'm also enjoying this marathon quite a lot. This is going to be way more in depth than any course or anything. Even in our live courses, we will be going through a little bit fast paced. This is going absolute in depth. All craziness of JavaScript will be explained up here. Hi Tesh, JavaScript enough to get job in FANG? Yes, of course, it is enough. You need to supplement it with a tiny bit of data structures and algorithm. I'll walk you through, because since once you are into the course, you have a one-to-one mentorship with me as well. So yes, I'll walk you through with some of the guide that you have to prepare, and after that you can actually go ahead and crack the FANG as well. How do you manage time so efficiently? I think I'm planning to give it a TEDx talk on to the same. I'm preparing it. So I think on 8th of July, I'm going in one of the college in Bangalore, and we'll be talking about all of that. Okay. Okay, Talusko sir, Naveen sir, Talusko sir, I also call him Talusko sir, told that one hackathon will be organized in Delhi NCR. When can we expect it, and what will be the tech stack for that? First of all, we are not able to find any accommodation in NCR or Delhi region which can accommodate 500 people and can give them internet access to all those 500 people. And that is one of the issues that we are facing. Yes, we are planning one hackathon in Delhi NCR. Hopefully we'll be doing that. Okay, one more question. Will the JS bootcamp for transition from .NET to JS stack having 6 years of experience? You will love it. You will love it, because since you have so much of experience of writing the code, once we move you into the JavaScript stack, you'll be flying. And with already having your experience, I think you can easily grab 12-13 lakhs of packages. That would be the minimum, I would say, because you have experience of writing the code itself. Video quality on Peter McKinnon style. Thank you so much. That is one of the biggest compliment that I can have. Thank you so much. Okay, so Herman says, I want to attend the upcoming hackathon, but I don't have a laptop. I work on PC. Can you provide? That is too much of asking for us. We are already providing Red Bulls and pizzas and jobs and everything. And asking even laptop is like, hey, give me a flight, give me a laptop, and I'll come to your hackathon. We'll get a job. Now give me a house, give me a car. Come on, please. Don't do this. Okay. Hello, sir. May I know how to build programming logic? Yes, of course. We are going to talk about that in the upcoming JS bootcamp and all of that. Back again with a gray t-shirt. Gray is comfort. I do wear all of these colorful shirts and t-shirts when I'm outside or in the office or something. At home, I haven't left gray. I'm all the time in gray itself. Okay, so how is your vacation trip? You're building something on your free space of land. Yes, we are building up a kind of a farmhouse home or holiday home, something like that. Okay, so any more question do you have for the upcoming? And everybody should know that there is a coupon code, 10% off is available at Hitesh10. And there will be a lot of mentors, not just me, people who have insane amount of expertise on Tailwind CSS, people who have insane amount of expertise in building REST APIs. They have built entire startups on their own. So those kind of mentors will be available along with me. Of course, I'll be there. Sir, doing the JS full stack web development course, how much package should I expect as a fresher? See, that all depends on how much effort you are going to put in. It can be like 5 lakhs, it can be 15 lakhs, it can be 21 lakhs. I have no idea how much effort you'll be putting it, but definitely I would love to get you into the highest of the highest packages, because that is the best feeling I'll get. Okay, a couple of more questions. Old Hitesh is back. I was never gone. I was always here. I enrolled in 5 to 6 courses LCO. They are great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Keep playing basketball. Yes, of course I will. So, okay, after 17 seconds, we will be starting the course curriculum itself. And then we'll be walking through with some of the quirkiness of that. And okay, so again, then after this, we'll again talk about the JavaScript bootcamp and all of that. So we'll be going through with that. So, okay. It's already 10 minutes. Now we can go ahead and get started. Write down the comment section. Should we get started? Okay, so go ahead and write in the comment section. Get started. Write in the comment section, get started, and then we are going to get started with that. Go ahead, do that, please. Am I able to see that? Get started. Please write down, get started, and then only I'll get started. Without that, probably no. Probably not. Unless you say get started, we are not going to get started. Hit that like button as well. Tell me, get started, and we'll get started with today's session. Today's session is very, very interesting one. I'll assure you for that. Okay, so please write down, get started. Nothing else. I need get started. Okay, finally, get started. Need to be a flood of get started and likes also. 70 likes. Come on, man. Come on. Just 70 likes. Not good. Not good. Okay, people are excited now. I'm getting some likes. Just 25 more. 76 are there. I just need 100 up here. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Okay. Okay. So we have 77 likes getting up. Ah, nice, nice. Okay, so let's get started with today's session. Hey there everyone, Hitesh here and welcome to another session of JavaScript Marathon. Today we are going to talk about the quirkiness of JavaScript, especially the conversion. When JavaScript converts one element into another element, it behaves a little bit odd and you need to understand what is the algorithm that is driving it, because JavaScript conversion is run based on 3 algorithms itself. We'll also discuss a little bit about metaprogramming, not in too much of depth because there will be a separate sessions on metaprogramming of JavaScript, and we'll discuss about what metaprogramming is. And it's not a very fancy concept, it is totally manageable. So we'll be discussing that. Let me fire up my code editor and we'll walk you through that how and what we are going to study all together. So I hope you are all excited. Let's get started. So first, let me share up my screen. This is my screen. Need a code editor. So can I fire up a new code editor? There we go. And here it is. Need to get it. And all those people who are watching in 480p, turn it up into 4K. If you are watching it live on YouTube itself, because we are streaming in 4K. I need to have this Java camp, and there we go. We are doing absolutely fantastic in this one. And this one is booleans and symbol that we have all gone through. So let's go ahead and create a new file. If you're following along, go ahead and create along with me. So this one is more about conversion.js. So we'll name this one as 5. And by the way, you can access all of this into community dashboard. And let me also walk you through with the URL of that. So community dashboard is available for JavaScript Marathon. And let me add this link and file. And let me get that. So first I'll comment this out. And this is the URL and link. You can screenshot it. JavaScript Marathon. This is a free admin dashboard where you can find all of this code files, and we also post some of the quizzes and assignments sometimes. Hope you will be enjoying that as well. Okay, getting started on that. Let's talk about first of all what are primitive values up here. So primitive values are a lot of primitive values are in JavaScript up here. But there are some of the primitive values that you should be aware of. First of all, undefined is one of them. There is also null of them. I cannot write all of them, but these are strings and numbers. One thing absolutely you should know about it, that these values cannot be changed. So I'll just write no change. Yes, I know a lot of people, in fact, a lot of people in this case write that these values are mutable or non-mutable. I totally understand that this word mutable and non-mutable can be confusing very much. So I'll just call them as these values can be changed or cannot be changed. The whole idea is you should not be a master of English and these fancy words. The idea is you should be comfortable with JavaScript itself. So that is what we'll be doing in this case. So I'll be writing these values can be changed or cannot be changed. So this value, no change can happen in that or cannot be changed at all. But this brings a question. Hey Desh, why can strings be changed? Because string is nothing, just an array, and we just put up values like it. For example, if I just go ahead and write this Hitesh, and all of that, I can write that. Why we can't change that? This is the language design and language specific itself. So make sure you understand that part as well. Strings cannot be changed in JavaScript. That is by the language design itself. So if I go ahead and say this is my string and I go ahead and name it something like this, this cannot be changed. And you might be wondering, hey, but I have used many times my string dot to lowercase. This method I've used it many times. But in reality, the output of this line number 7 is simply going to be returning a new string itself. So as many times as you are referencing to these methods or any method on the string, they are returning you a new string. Please make sure you understand this part very, very clearly. This is very important for all of us. Okay. Now coming up onto the part, and again, numbers and everything, they never get changed. We always have to, they always return a new, any manipulation returns a new number. But there is also interesting notes up here. And again, by the way, I'll be writing all the notes for you here as well. So objects are mutable, or I'll write in brackets again, you can change them. This is the most interesting aspect. And okay, so objects, which is the meat part or the entire heart of the JavaScript, they can be changed itself. I'm going to go ahead and create a my object. Again, why am I writing? The keyboard needs to shift a little bit. Okay, so my object, and let's just say I go ahead and say name, and the value of this is going to be simply Hitesh. This is my object, and this object can be changed or manipulated as well. This is the language design. Once you understand the language design and architecture, you'll be thriving into interviews of JavaScript. So let's just say the name was there, but I'm accessing by simply naming the object and putting a dot notation and putting up the name here, which is up here. I can access any property of this object. So for example, there is this name, there is this another one. Let's just say this is going to be 2, and the value is maybe 2, something like that. So I can just say my object.name, I can say my object.to, and I can access all of these properties. Let me remove that because that's not what was the intention. And I can just name these values as not Hitesh, something like that. And now my object.name is being changed. Not only that, you can also go ahead and manipulate these objects by adding more properties into that. So let's just say we have another last name that we are adding, and that value is going to be my last name itself. So yes, objects are manipulatable. That's a word. That's a mouthful of word. Okay, moving on. There is very, very interesting concept up here that arrays also exist, and arrays are also mutable. And again, mutable means they can be changed itself. And if arrays are not changeable, then the entire language structure will fall apart. So for example, let's just say there is something known as hero score, or I can write this way, hero score. And let's just say heroes are scoring some numbers. So 4, 5, 6, maybe 1. Arrays can also be manipulated. Whenever you say hero score and you pass on an index that at position 1 instead of 4, I'll be manipulating it to 5, then it doesn't return you a new value itself. So make sure you understand that arrays, yes, you can manipulate them. Objects, yes, you can manipulate them. But strings, nope. Once defined, they are finalized. Every time you make any properties or something, you are returning a new value itself. One more interesting part, very, very interesting part. Now, this is where the quirkiness of JavaScript starts. Let me write this as a notes for you so that you can also later on download this exercise file from the community dashboard and can have an access for this one. And again, by the way, I would highly, highly recommend you to pay small attention here. This is where the quirkiness of JavaScript begins. Make sure you understand that part. Okay, so moving on, the objects. Okay, make sure you understand one thing, that objects are called as reference types. What do I mean by that? Whenever you access any JavaScript object, a reference is assigned. A reference is assigned. Okay, what do I mean by that? I have written 2 very cryptic lines. I do understand. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. When I say that there is an array ref, and by the way, in case you don't know, most of the things, even arrays in JavaScript, are also kind of internally an object. So anything where object prototypes are there, this is all going to be great. So let me walk you through. So there are two numbers, and this is a reference. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm creating another array ref. Okay, great. And now we are holding this array reference. So what I can do here now is, since I'm holding a reference, I can actually go ahead and say that the first element in this array is going to be 5. Now, the most important question is, okay, is this actual array getting manipulated or not? Is this array actually going to get manipulated or not? The answer is yes, it is going to be. It is going to be. So let me go ahead and take this, and we'll be calling array. Let me just copy paste this. Otherwise, I'm known for making typos. Okay. And the most important thing that will confirm all of the things is, if this is equal to another array reference, what will be the result of this? What will be the array? Is it going to be 1 and 2, or is it going to be 5 and 2? That is the question. That is what we are saying. Okay, let's go ahead and run this program first, and then we are going to discuss a tiny bit about it. Okay, so let me go ahead and say this is 05 conversion.js, and we have seen the result. The result is obviously 5 and 2, and the true is there. The reason for that is because once you have allocated a memory in the objects, this memory reference is getting transferred into array reference. And since you are then creating another variable here, the same value or the same reference is being transferred here. And that is the meaning when I said reference is assigned. So whenever you create an object or you simply create an array, the reference of this array is going to be traveling throughout the point up here. Now this is a very, very important concept. So go ahead and make sure you understand that part. Okay, now, but what about, I don't want to take a reference. I want to copy this array, because in my another array reference, I don't want the reference of this array. I want to manipulate it somehow. I don't want to manipulate this. I want to create or take a reference of this one. Now, this is where the interesting part of the JavaScript comes in, because if you are taking this array and you are creating a variable and assigning it, the same reference is getting passed on. We don't want that. We want something different to happen. So in that case, you have to use some of the JavaScript methods. I'm running out of the variable names, so let's call it as yet another array. Yes, I'm running out of name. So yet another array. So in this case, you have to use an array, and then you can say dot from, and then you can go ahead and pass on this array reference. So now we have made a copy of this array. We are not referencing the original one. We are using the new one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to try and console log. So let's go ahead and console log and try yet. Let me copy this. That would be better. Copy this. And if that is, oops, my bad. If that is equals to array ref, let's go ahead and get an answer. Okay, I think you should also get familiar by running this node and all of that. Okay, so there we go. Now it says false, because of course these are not equal. And now whatever the value is in yet another array, we are making a copy of it. Now, copying on the array, definitely we will have a detailed class on the array. This is just one of the method. There are other great ways that a lot of programmers use, and that we are going to discuss in the class of array itself. We'll have not just one, probably I think 2 or 3 classes on array itself, because that is so much of in-depth of a topic. But right now, we have deduced a few things. That first of all, arrays are mutable. You can change them. Second is, objects are referenced. So arrays or anything in the object, they are just reference. And whenever you create a new variable, assign that a reference of originality is being passed on. If you want to make a copy, array from is one of the way of how you can copy it. Okay, so I hope this entire part is all clear to you. Now moving on to the quirky side of JavaScript, which is a conversion. A lot of thing happens when the conversion actually goes up into the JavaScript itself. Okay, so moving on to the part, let's talk about, I'm going to just comment this down and put up a lot of pluses so that whenever you are taking these exercise files, you have the notes properly. Let's talk about type conversion, because that's an interesting subject. And I would also write a concept. JS gets what JS wants. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let me give you a few examples and you tell me what will be the answer of it. And make sure everybody at least say it out loud in case you don't want to type it in the comments or something. Let's just say we are saying that this is 10 plus objects. What would be the output of this one? That is going to be a fantastic exercise for you to see that whether things are going great or not up here. What could be the output? Take a moment, think about it, and just get me the answer of what would be the answer of 10 plus objects. Very, very interesting one. Okay, without wasting much of your time, let me give you the answer of this one, because the answer is pretty interesting. The answer is going to be a string which says 10 objects. Okay, so a lot of people deduce from this that, okay, if the first value is number and the second value is a string, then it converts everything into a string. Now, this is wrong perspective at all. This is not how JavaScript works. This is not how JavaScript was intended to design. It should not be like first object was number, second was string, so it converts string. First object was string, then the second object was number, it converts it into string. No, JavaScript doesn't work like that. That is not how JavaScript works. Let me walk you through with that. A couple of more funky examples with it. Okay. What would be the value if I just go ahead and say a 7 is a string and if I multiply it simply by 4? What would be the answer of it? Now, in this case, the answer is going to be 28. Surprising, surprising. Yes, you can go ahead and guess that how this is going to happen. First time it didn't converted this into a number, and this time it's converting both of them into number. How is that craziness going on? And in case this is not yet craziness for you, let me walk you through with one more example. Let me go ahead and say that there is a number in which I'm just saying 1 minus and a string XA, whatever you want to go ahead and have that. Let's go ahead and console log this one, that how this is going to happen. So if I go ahead and print out num itself, that console log of num, I'm pretty sure you know what is going to happen. I'm pretty sure most of you have already guessed it, that a nan is going to come in. But what if I go ahead and console log that I want to have a num plus, and then I say a space and then any string, objects, whatever you like. What is going to happen in this case? What if I add nan? So what is going on? What is this craziness that the nan object, which is a type of string, by the way, entirety of the thing was returned as a string. I'll come back onto this point in a minute, that why this is all happening, because JavaScript is not weird. You don't understand about the 3 algorithms that are there. There are 3 algorithms which define all of this quirky behavior, that how the things are going to convert into string or number into string. These are 3 algorithms. You need to understand about it. Okay, moving on a little bit more. So there is a little bit more of conversion in JavaScript that gets up. For example, if you try to convert true into a string, it gets to as 1. True is converted as 1. Similar to that, if you have false or if you have empty strings, that gets to 0. Okay, I can remember that. But why? Why should I remember this? Is there any rule? Is there an algorithm, or just have to remember this? No, there is a rule. There is a rule to get that. I'll come back onto this because there is just one more thing I have to cover, and then we'll talk about this one. So there is something known as forceful conversion in JavaScript, and in a lot of languages as well. That is simply you get a number and in that you pass on 3 as well. This is 100% going to get converted into 3. You can also talk about some forceful conversion, like there is Infosys stock, and let's just say, assuming, giving you a ballpark, the 1600 is the price, but there is also a 4343 after that. You can go ahead and do some forceful conversion on Infosys stock, and you can go ahead and say .toFix. There are a lot of methods, .locale string, precision string. I highly recommend you to go and figure out what each of them do. I will just say that you can pass on a toFixed and say just 2. Okay, great so far. Now here's the most interesting thing. Just try to guess what would be the answer of it. 2 of them. I'm saying that Boolean, convert this empty string into Boolean. What would be the answer of this one? Can anybody guess? Okay, I'm giving you a second. I'm giving you a thought to think about it. What would be the answer of this one? Interesting thought, interesting thought. I just come up into this one. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you have answered because we have just talked about it, that this empty string gets to 0. But what about this? If I go ahead and say, hey, I want a conversion of this. Okay, what is going to be there? What is going to be there in this case? What is going to be there in this case? So let me know in the comments what would be the answer of line number 54 and line number 55. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have opened up the console.log and trying to get that. This is the most interesting part. If I go ahead and run this file again, I get one as false and another as true. What on this God green earth is this happening? How can one be treated as false and another one is being treated as true? No consistency is there. No, my friend, the consistency is there. You just haven't heard about how JavaScript algorithm work or how the language was designed. Let me walk you through with that. For that, we need to understand a little bit more onto that. So let me write that as a comment so that you can understand that. Okay, so objects, when you convert these objects to primitive values, so objects and these arrays are definitely more objects, and you have to convert them into primitive values. And by the term primitive value, I mean to say these booleans or numbers or something like that. So there are actually 3 algorithms which defines all of this. The first algorithm name is actually known as prefer-string. That's how the language was designed. The second algorithm is known as prefer-number, and there is also a third one which is also says no preference. Okay, let me go ahead and comment this out so that you can actually, let me select all of this and put a comment. Okay, so these are the 3 algorithms which defines everything. So how can you understand these 3 algorithms? In order to understand these 3 algorithms, I need to explain you 2 methods as well. The first method is a toString method and another method is toValue. Once we understand these 2 methods, understanding these algorithms is going to be super easy for you. Okay, moving on. So first of all, let's understand what is this toString. So let's just say I have a simple value. I'll say color value, if I can write that. Okay, color value. And let's just say the value of the color is 14. I don't know how, but the color value is 14. Somehow you decided that I need to convert that into binary color value. So how can you do that? You can actually go ahead and take the color value. If you have read through a lot of methods of JavaScript, including the toString, you can actually go ahead and convert that. ToString except this radix. Radix means what base you want to give. Since I'm looking for a binary values, if you don't give any, then it's just a toString. But you can give a radix here which specify like 2, and then you can have values of it. So yes, the toString method, you need to study this quite a lot and it gives a lot of stuff. So if I go ahead and say binary, I would love to copy this, otherwise you know what happens. Okay, save that, and if I run this one up here, you know that this actually gets converted into 1110, which is binary. Of course, no big deal, no big deal. Let me comment out a few of them so that we can actually have less of console log. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, so this part you have understood that there is a method that says toString and that's how it works. But there is also a little bit of a quirky behavior. For example, let me just console log this one directly without holding it into a variable. There is an object which says 1 and whose value is a string 1. Yeah, very weird. What happens when I go ahead and say .toString? How that will behave? Can anybody go ahead and work on with that? And yes, I'm pretty sure some of you might be thinking that, hey, this is happening because array is a falsy value. No, truthy falsy values doesn't work like that. Come on, you need to become an empty canvas to understand new knowledge. And this is what is happening right now with you. You are not an empty canvas. Okay, so what happens in this case? If I console log this one, let me walk you through. You might have seen this so many times and you might have got frustrated with this one, which says object, object. Yeah, very, very hateful. The reason why this is happening because string is not able to convert this object into a string itself. It doesn't know how to do that. So it's just saying there's an array which says object, object. Let me walk you through with that. Yes, there is a solution of this one. You need to understand the language design. Let's just say I go ahead and say new date, and this is going to be new date, and there we go. Let's just say 2022 1,1, whatever that date is. And if I go ahead and try to console log this as new date, let's run this again, and we get this date into this format. Now you might have used this one that many times you don't want date into this format. So you can just go ahead and say value of, and this is going to give you a value, a real value, what it is storing into as a memory reference. This is what this is being stored. And when sometimes you open up the database where the date field is there, this is kind of a numbers that you see that this is all going to have this one. Okay. Now, why do I want to talk so much about this one? We have talked about string, we have talked about value. Now let's coming up onto the point that why we discuss this so much. So whenever I say the algorithm that refer to that is prefer number, this prefer number algorithm, what it does, it first go ahead and tries to whatever the value you give to it, it just go ahead and say, I'll run a value of operation on that. If this value gives me any sensible result, then okay, otherwise I'll then run it to .toString. There we go. Similarly, I hope you can deduce this is a prefer number, and another algorithm that we discussed is prefer string. So in prefer string, obviously it first runs everything into toString. If this gives a sensible result, then okay, otherwise it goes through into value of. Now what happens in the case of an array is that when you gave it an empty array, what happened is it first tried to convert it into a string, because that is a prefer string. Array is always going to run through the algorithm of prefer string. So it first tries to convert that into string. Since it gave it an empty string, and we all know empty string can be translated to 0 itself. That is why empty array always gives you this 0 value up here. The most interesting part is, let me uncomment this line 55, and let's see what is the result up here. So if I just go ahead and run this one again, we see that there is a true here. I'm not sure true. We are having a lot of values being printed. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. There is a lot of console log happening, and I'm putting up a lot of things into comments. I hope you can adjust and understand that part. Okay, this one is all up here, and I think we don't have any console logs. Yep, that should be all good. Let's go ahead and talk about this one. So still too many true false. Oh, I'm having a console logs here as well. Okay, just give me a second. Let me clear this one and comment out this. Too many. I hope I have cleared all the console log. Need to create a plugin so that it can do automatically all this. Okay, moving back. Okay, so we're getting it true this time. Okay. I think we are mistaking it. Okay, this is all what we have. So console log, so when we ran it with an empty string, this one was giving up a false value. Now coming back onto the example that we are taking. So this one was giving a false, and this one was giving a true. So this was the case when we ran at empty string, it first ran the method of trying to convert that empty string, and that can be easily converted as 0. That is already defined in it. We talked about it. But what happens when we go through with this array? When we go ahead and try to convert this array, it doesn't get converted. Array.toString is not going to get converted. But when, okay, let me repeat that because that is getting a little bit confusing. Okay, when we tried it on an empty array, when you run a method of .toString, it gets converted into an empty string, and that can be converted into 0. That is why empty array gave you this kind of a value. But if you go ahead and say 99 up here, there's just one value into this array. Notice this. Again, you get it true. Okay, so I think I might have confused you a little bit, but again, I want you to research a little bit more onto the prefer string, prefer number, and no preference at all. So a lot of values in JavaScript run through with that prefer string method, a lot of values in JavaScript run on prefer number method, and all of that. And when you try to convert any of them, the mischief that is happening in JavaScript is because some of these elements or objects run through the prefer number algorithm and some of them run through the prefer string methods at all. All you need to remember is that most of the objects that goes through with that first go through with prefer string methods. So first of all, they will be converted into string and then they will try to deduce a value out of it. That is how it works. Now, this brings a concept that, hey, I want to control that how the deletability or the configurability of this object property works. I also want to control the extensibility of the objects creating, or I want to create a frozen object itself. So make sure there's a lot that you can control. Maybe you want that JavaScript that whenever I give you an empty array, it should not behave like this. It should not give me a true value itself. The empty strings are giving me a false value. Empty array should also give me a false value. But JavaScript, how the language is designed, this is not how it works. So in that case, what can be done? In that case, what you have to do is simply make sure you understand a little bit about metaprogramming. Metaprogramming is a concept in which you can define that how JavaScript behaves a little bit on that. Now, once JavaScript behaves according to what you wanted it to be, that's called as metaprogramming. And yes, we are going to take that as a concept of it, and then we are going to with that. And again, yes, I do understand the last part was a bit of a confusing, and yes, I kind of misexplained a tiny bit of it. I'll probably try to take one more class onto that, and we'll go for that. And we'll try to give you a bit of more of explanation on that. And that is why I'm taking this experience of live classes, because sometimes it can be confusing and stuff, all of that. If you want me to take another class on this last part, because I know there was a lot in this class, we can take another one of this one. Yes, I totally understand this part, that this part can be a little bit tricky because these algorithms requires in itself a video itself, and I should be making them instead of taking this along with all of this. I should be taking a separate on this one. I'll take that. And again, in case you want to have that, we can actually go ahead and take this one. And yep, I do understand there is a lot of confusion. You are being confused. Yes, I was confused. No offense in it. Yes. But again, this is all how it is going to be. Okay. Add a label when doing console log. You won't have to comment them. Don't want to keep the label and all of that. So again, okay, so this was all of the class that I wanted to take about it. In case you want to have another class on the live part itself, that's why I'm taking all of these classes as live. If you want that I should explain these three algorithms a little bit more in depth, we can take that into another class, but I will know about them when you'll put it in the comment section or maybe on Instagram or somewhere. Then we can go ahead and take a tiny class. But again, we have to keep that class short so that topic can be explained much more precisely. We can go for that. I know I'm going all in depth of the craziness. I haven't seen anybody explaining this prefer string, prefer numbers anywhere onto that. So probably we can take that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put up the timer itself so that we can have some of the conversation. Okay, so the timer is up here. Yeah, another class on that. Okay, if enough of people are going to comment on this video that another class on 3 algorithms, then surely I'll take tomorrow's class back again onto these 3 algorithms. They are very, very important one and difficult to understand. I agree on that path. And that is the beauty about these live classes. I can get an instant feedback and I can probably come up with better examples of explaining these 3 algorithms. They are very, very important. Nobody is able to understand these algorithms on first go. Everybody says, hey, JavaScript behaves differently, but it doesn't. Surely I'll take another class. No worries on that part. Probably will take another class on JavaScript Marathon tomorrow in somewhere in daytime, and the evening time, again, we can take another topic. I want to go all in depth of it. Okay, surely we'll try that. Okay, so yep, a lot of people, you don't have to comment in the comment section. You also have to comment once the video is over. And again, if enough of people say that, I would love to take another class on these 3 algorithms. I don't think anybody has explained them yet, but we'll do that. I'll probably make a video on that. How about that? Okay, so when the marathon finished, we can be job ready. I don't know when it will be finished. It's a really, really long run. Okay, so Piyush says, Campus Tech Leader interview done, waiting for selection confirmation email. Surely team will send it soon. Okay. Yes, deep understanding. How does array uses prefer string first? Surely, I'll do that. Probably I got confused a little bit in the end. Probably that's, see, whenever, whatever the things are, I just say it openly that yes, this is where I was not able to perform well. I was not able to explain it better. Whenever I'm able to do it, I just say it. This is how it works. This is a community of developers. You are also a developer. I'm also a developer trying to teach and make a better world. So this is how sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, these quirky behaviors spoils our interview. That is why I'm taking these classes. Okay, so Ambuj says, okay, so will the Tech Neuron subscriber will have access to the live courses? No, for the job guarantee courses, not. But again, I don't think so. Even if I'll give you, let's just say I give you all the access of these live classes, recorded live classes, not live. You have to purchase that separately. You won't be able to understand this. The feedback that you're getting here, this is one way. I'm teaching on YouTube. I'm just looking into the comments. In the live classes, you are able to unmute yourself, comment, ask questions, what is happening. This doubt could have been cleared just in the moment itself. If we go up into the live classes, you can just take it and we can go for that. Okay. Okay, so surely, and any more questions that you have about upcoming JavaScript bootcamp that we are taking up or anything else, all of that. And yes, this is the most important thing. Abhishek is saying it's okay to be confused. Yes, this is how it should be. And says, I never heard of this prefer string algorithm before anywhere, neither on YouTube nor on the entire internet, probably least discussed. Yeah, I agree. It is least discussed. It is least discussed. And that is why the JavaScript, there is a lot in the JavaScript that goes on. Regarding the full stack bootcamp, will there be live classes only for 2 hours on the weekend? The course description says 500 plus hours of live session. No, 500 plus hour. I don't think so, because see, we have said the 500 plus hours of session because if it is required, the classes will be not 2 hours exactly, because there are doubt classes as well on top of that. In case you require some of the mentorship session, then they are also part of this because there will be separate mentors going on for that and we'll be getting all that. Yes, Hitesh, it happens. No doubt, as always, amazing. Thank you so much. And yes, I try my best. Okay, the structure of this marathon is based on book JavaScript, the definite guide. A little bit on that. I'm taking a reference from a whole lot of books and videos and what I know and what we face on that. So I go with a lot of that. Please, 3 algorithms. Yes, we'll be going for that. How to find the code files. That is available into this one. So let me walk you through. So in case you want to have the access of code files, the first link is there, courses.ineuron JavaScript marathon. And yes, I do refer books. It's not like I teach everything out of my mind. This is one of the myths that people need to clear up. All the lecturers in the world, all the people who teach, they take references from the notes, from the books, from the good books. That is our effort. You should be appreciating that somebody took an entirety of his afternoon in reading some books and documentation and prepared a lecture out of it. I think that should be appreciated. People these days think that YouTubers are just some God-gifted things. They know everything. That is not how it works. We are mere teacher itself. We teach the stuff by referencing a lot of stuff and we make them easier. If it doesn't work, we try it again. That's how it works. Okay, so let's pick up. If you have any questions regarding any of that courses or something, yeah, we can do that. Please tell a bit about Redux. Redux requires a separate video itself. Okay. More about native base. Yep, native base hackathon is coming up into the next weekend. Make sure you attend that and going for that. Any reference of book? Not books. Actually, I'm referencing 4 of the books to prepare these videos and lectures and all of that. And once the marathon is done and all of that, I'll be assigning and be referencing all these books. And even I'll try to bring these authors onto my YouTube channel so that we can have a direct interaction with them and all of that. So yes, we'll be going through with that. Okay, so thank you, Hitesh, sir. Hi, Nishin. Thank you so much. These days, a lot of people are, only a few people are there who says thanks like this. Greetings from Cuba. Great job. We are going to do projects in this marathon. Absolutely. I have so far prepared 5 projects that we'll be discussing very, very soon. So yes, in this marathon, projects are also being planned up. Yep, another class would be awesome. Surely, I would love to take this class again, and we can have this one. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would love to invest a little bit more energy and time in explaining these concepts a lot in depth, along with some documentation references from MDN. So yeah, sure, I would love to do that. Okay, so thank you so much. And by the way, again, you can go ahead and let me walk you through with that. There is a JavaScript full stack web developer course. Let me post that into the comments as well. So this is the new live classes that we are taking in up, and use coupon code Hitesh10. You can get 10% discount. Join me up in there. Okay, the best part of this marathon is that we learn a little bit every day, which makes us consistent. Let's continue this marathon for a whole year. I would love to. I would love to. Okay, one more thing I wanted to ask to all of you is that, hey, should I go ahead and put my Learn Code online courses on Udemy as well? Would you like to see me on Udemy as well? Because I was thinking about it today. Let me know in the comment section that should I put up my LCO courses on Udemy also? Would you love that? As I've seen, a lot of people are interested in buying the courses only from Udemy itself. So let's just see. Okay, what would you select, JavaScript over Python for backend? Depends. There are use cases for each one of them. So it's not like I'm biased towards one of them. Full stack JavaScript will only have one batch, or on 10th of July, or any, this is just one batch. I'm not sure about what will happen in future. Will I start this kind of a course or live again or not, and everything. So nope, no guarantee. I don't think so this course will start again anytime soon. Or maybe it will start or not, who knows? I'm not sure. This is the only one we have right now. This marathon pushed me to learn by myself. That is the goal. That is the goal. Because see, at the end of the day, it's not I am who going to answer all these question interviews. It's not me who's going to write all these codes in the companies. You have to do it. Okay, so a lot of people, let me know. Oh, a lot of people want that. Should I put this up? Just write. That should I put up all these courses on Udemy, because I think I'll get much more exposure there, and I think that these courses whom I'm put up so much of effort should reach to a wider audience itself. If you guys are going to help me in the ratings and sharing on all of that, I would love to do that. Yes, on Udemy Business, yes, I'll put it everywhere. Yes, that is the goal. Udemy will reach to more students. I think a lot more students should know about these classes. No, Udemy LCO is awesome. LCO, it will be there on LCO, but how about putting it on Udemy itself? Okay, so JavaScript course is for 2017 batch pass out. It's for everyone. There is no restriction on which batch it is, which batch it is not. It's for everyone. This course will be continued. Of course, this course will be. Okay, so if you put LCO videos after Udemy servers, get down. Is CSS important for full stack developer? You're calling yourself full stack developer. It is very important for you. Oh, 271 watching, 283 likes, says it all. Yeah, thank you so much. I would love to put more effort. Devang says, yes, Udemy sounds good. Yep, so I was thinking about it. Yes, we'd like to see you in Udemy. Okay, let's go to Udemy if you are saying. Okay, so I think we can go on Udemy itself. Let's see. I want to switch from PHP to Angular. Do I need to too good in CSS, or basic should be enough? I think basic should be enough. And if you enroll into the JavaScript course, we're already teaching Tailwind CSS and a bit of Bootstrap as well. So I think Tailwind should cover most of the stuff, and rest of the fast-paced design should be covered by Bootstrap itself. So I think it should be good itself. LCO itself is a brand which is now a part of iNeuron. So LCO comes under the umbrella of iNeuron now. Okay, so how many part of this courses? We haven't finished even one. Okay, so I guess that's all we'll be doing up. And again, make sure you go ahead and check out the course up here. which is full stack web developer. And yep, I'm thinking to move on to Udemy as well, put some courses up there. I'm pretty sure all of this is going to be there. What about our community, our support community? Yes, support community is there. We are building it up. Hopefully by this Wednesday, I will be able to make an announcement that yes, our community is up and running, and how you are going to get support into JavaScript community as well. Yes, we are building up our own Discord. You'll be loving that. Okay. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's go ahead and close up this live session. 55